Hello, welcome. I did a couple little things before stream started. I added collision to these walls finally, so it's bothering me. I think that was it actually. Okay. Black pressure plate isn't detecting the block now for some reason. Why is that? Let's just move the flare a little cooler. Whoop. Hi, Malform. How's it going? Thanks for the floof. Hope you're having a good Thursday. Hi, Tolbaka. How's it going? So why is my pressure plate not detecting the block now? That seems weird. Okay. Good. I caught a little bit of your stream with Eli, playing Portal. It was fun. I was mostly just lurking. Yeah, it's been ages since I played Portal 2 as well. Pressure plate. Open, close. Bodies is greater than 0. If bodies is empty. Yeah. Tons of completed levels. Okay, let's I'm gonna check the remote scene on the pressure plate, see if I can look at the list of bodies is 0. Bodies is 1. Nope. Bodies is 1. Bodies is 0. Bodies is 0. Oh. Let's see. There should be oh, I moved the pushable on the layer 9. I did not add the pushable to the layer mask on the pressure plate. That would be part of it. I did that for the raycast so I can cool. Okay. That works the way that I expected it to. I wonder if I need... because it's triggering like twice in a row here. Because I think there's like a small window of time where the player collider is not touching the pressure plate, but neither is the box. So I might need to like let's see. So it's 1 right now. 0. It's 1. So it does go from 0 to 1 in like a frame. I mean, it's a pretty minor issue. I don't care that much about fixing it right now. I just would like to know why it's happening, you know? But I think rather than mess with that, I want to add some basic swimming to the game. I have done swimming in a couple other projects before, so I have like a vague idea of how to do it in Unity at least. So let's alright. Let's scripts. Terrible. Guess it'll be an obstacle. Water. Inherits from area 3D. I'm gonna make a new guess I'll just make a test scene to make a water area. Change type to water. Oh, area 3D. We'll add our water script to it. Scripts, obstacles, water. Cool. I'll say last name, water, extent 3D. Let's see. So we want to just gonna make a water area scene. Let's add a collision shape 3D, and we'll just make it a box. Make it fairly big. We want to make sure that it is on layer 7, I think. Slide 6. Yeah. It's on layer 6, and it's going to mask layer. And mask player and enemy. And we'll tie into our body entered and body exited. It'll say if body is character controller. Same thing here. And then we'll just print like entered water. We should also make a let's see, mesh render. Gonna make this a box. We're gonna give it the same size as this. And we're gonna make a new material. We're actually gonna save this material. We'll call it water. And for now, we're just gonna make it have alpha mix. We'll give it lower roughness. And make it blue with some alpha on it for now. Yo, how's it going? We're adding water to our game. Let's see. If I go into our outdoor world, we grab water. Oop, that's the script. We want the prefab. Water area. Drop it in here. Let's move it over here. So there's a couple things we'll want to do in the water itself. I am gonna kind of partially overlap with the ground here. But we want to keep track of the depth of the water. And the top surface of the water. Let's see, did we get that event? Yeah, player entered water, exited water. Alright. So, let's see. We're gonna make a function in our player state machine. We have one called try to climb. We're gonna have one we'll have try to swim. So in water area, here we'll say player dot why not keep a reference to the player state machine in the I thought I did. I guess I don't. How am I doing it in the interactor? Okay. I have export var water surface height. We want function ready. Water surface height equals global position y plus actually it want to use the global position of the collider. Water collision shape dot global position y plus water collision shape dot size y, and it'll actually be plus half. Just double check this here. Water surface height is 0. That doesn't seem right. Well, let's see. Okay, our position here. Okay, I guess that is right. Because it was at 0.5 and the height was 1, so let's just give it some arbitrary number. So it'll be close to 0, but not 0, just so we can make sure that that's correct. Okay, yeah. Alright, so we have... I started putting together some states for swimming. So we have swimming idle, doesn't do anything right now, and then we'll have swim. So one thing we'll want to do is we'll have an export var water surface height offset. Let's say negative 0.15 for now. So when we enter the state, we'll just set our, oh, we do need to have a reference to our current water area. Hi Rozzies, how's it going? In this enter state here, we'll say if current water area is not equal to null, character controller. We do need a reference to that, so add an export. Player. So I'll say, go ahead and assign this. Let's say player dot global position dot y is equal to current water area dot water surface height plus water surface. And then we also want a reference to our animation tree. Yeah, it's going pretty well. Ooh, it's Eli. How's it going? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. We are adding water to our game. Right now, it just looks like a blue rectangle. I do need to import some animations. Yeah, those dice look like they would not be good to step on. Alright, make a new folder. Call it swimming. Alright. Let me find my swimming animations. It depends if it's a sharp edge dice or a more rounded corner, because those sharp edge d4s not fun to step on. Whoa, Renee, welcome Raiders, how's it going? Hi. Thank you for coming to my little owlbear lair from the Accursed Theater. For those of you who don't know, I'm Grizzhoot the Owlbear, and I make video games and such. I am currently working on a Wind Waker-inspired Zelda-type game. Let me show it off for a second. You caught me while I was in the middle of importing animations, so yes, I do have a redeem to make me even floofier. Yeah, all the cool owlbears are purple. Thanks, Schnoo. Thanks for the floof. Ah. I have my my collision debugging on. I don't need that right now. All right. Let me show off my Zelda thing that I've been working on for almost a year now. Thanks for the lurk. Alright, so this week I added block pushing and pulling. Yeah, I did see it. It looks hilarious. I should make my mouth that open that wide on my 2.0 model. So yeah, we can push blocks onto pressure plates. To open doors and whatnot. This is just a test to show it affects stuff. Last week we added ladders. You can climb up ladders. And then a couple weeks before that we added ledge grabbing. So you can climb up ledges. And we have lock-on targeting. We can swing our sword. We can do basically all the movement stuff you can do in a Zelda game. So we have like jump slashes, backflips, and side hops. And, you can void out if you fall off the edge. We can throw bombs, which is pretty fun. Bombs can blow up bombable things and damage the player if you get too close. But I can also shield to not take damage from the bomb, and he has a cool little shield react animation. But that only works if I'm actually facing the bomb. So if I'm facing away, I still take damage. I can open chests, sort of. The animation kind of breaks right now, and I don't actually get anything from the chest. And like all good Zelda game stuff, you can break pots. And you can collect rupees. You can also pick up the pots and throw them. So I've been working on this like a few hours a week for the past year or so. A little under a year, I think. Hi Debray, how's it going? Welcome. Yes, everyone's behaving. We got raided by the Accursed Theater. But they'll behave. So we are getting ready to add swimming to the game. I added this water area. Right now all it does is debug that the player entered and exited. But we're gonna start hooking up a swim animation, which I was doing right as I got raided. And thanks for the follow, Trans Wizards and Jordy. Alright, so we have this swimming animation that does not have a mesh attached to it, but we will... Thanks. Alright, we'll call this one's swimming. So animation, call it swim. And let's see, we do need to set up the skeleton to be a humanoid skeleton. And do the same thing for treading water. I should set up like it's some kind of auto action to like do this stuff for me, but you know. Alright, loop mode, linear, save the file, information, idle. Alright, so now if we go into our little player here, he has this animation player. We can manage animations. We can open up swim and swim idle. And then we'll go into our animation tree. And we're gonna do a similar thing to what we did for our block push and pull. Where's a good place for it? It's getting a little unwieldy. Is anyone who's done any animation setup for games before, you'll recognize this sort of thing. This nasty spider web. Alright, so we definitely want to be able to transition from our locomotion, which is like walking and running and stuff. We'll add a 1D blend space. And we'll go into it, and we can add some animations. So we'll add one at 0, and that will be swim idle. We'll add another one, 1, and that will be swim. So you can kind of see here, he's treading water, and then if I move this, it goes into a swim. Although the swim has root motion, which I do not want, so I think I might need to re-download that without the root motion. But let's see. I might just be able to delete the just turn this off maybe. That's backflip. We want swim. Yeah, that'll work. All right, let's go back to our animation tree here. Call this swimming. All right, we need to set up some transitions. So we'll say swimming equals true, and then we're gonna set up another transition that goes back into locomotion, and that one swimming equals. So then in our script, we can set a variable called swimming. Set it to false by default. We'll tag it as a Boolean just so we know. And then in our swim idle, we can say animation tree swimming is equal to true. And then here, let's say our player state machine is equal to player dot get node player state machine. And we can say player state machine dot try to swim. And then in player state machine, we can say change state to swim head. So now if we run over to our water, tried to roll and got grabbed by the treasure chest. All right. Okay. Enter state. Why isn't it like that? Because alright, state. Enter state is null. Weird. Swim idle. I didn't make this unique name. That should fix it. Okay. Why am I in my running animation now? Let's see. Links. Player state machine. Current state is. Okay, I forgot to assign some stuff that I needed to assign. Alright. Animation tree. There we go. And then we do want to set current water area. Whoa, Riddle RX. Welcome, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. I got double rated today. Wow. Welcome. For those of you who don't know, I am Grizzhoot the Owl Bear. I am currently working on a Zelda-inspired game in Godot. That was inspired by, I played through Wind Waker HD last summer on my stream, and oh, thanks. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I am an Owlbear VTuber. I built this custom VTubing setup in Unity, and I'm using the Xbox One Connect to do my tracking, so you can kind of see down there. It uses the skeleton that the Connect gives me. The Connect can actually do face tracking and body tracking, so it's kind of an all-in-one tracking solution that I built. So I used to work on VR games a couple years ago, and now I am doing my own thing. I switched over from Unity to Godot. I'm having a lot of fun learning, and yeah, this Zelda-inspired project started off as just an excuse for me to learn Godot, and it's starting to take on a life of its own. I want to make it into a full game. I have some ideas for the story, but I'm kind of taking a mechanics first approach. Sort of how Nintendo does it. Ooh, oh boy. Got an error. That was fun. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lot of the times I do start with a story, or at least a setting. And like I knew I wanted like a medieval fantasy. I did blow myself up and crashed the game a little bit. Just a little bit. Why did that happen? I think sometimes the player still has a reference to the bomb that has exploded. Okay, yeah, something weird was happening there. Because the A button shouldn't pick up bombs. Okay, so it's picking up the bomb that I've already thrown. Even though the bomb should be no longer in range. Okay, that shouldn't be too hard to fix. But it's weird that it's happening at all. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that in my hack and plan board. I use this to keep track of what I'm working on. I don't always check it as much as I should, but player can throw a bomb that is already been thrown, and it is out of range. And then let's put some notes in there as well. Where'd that go? Description. This can cause crash from no ref. The bomb has already exploded. And let's say it's not urgent, but it's pretty important because it can cause a crash. But yeah, hack and plan is cool. It gives you can have like different boards. You can keep track of like different tasks. So you can have ones that you're planning on doing, ones that you're doing right now, ones that you're testing, and ones that you're done with. I haven't been doing a great job at keeping these kind of time boxed. Yeah, it is a very cool tool. It's very helpful and it's cool because it is designed specifically for game development. I've used Trello in the past, and also Jira. I think Jira is kind of overkill for small teams, and Trello is a little too unstructured. Like it's great if you want that flexibility, but I have ADHD and sometimes I need a little bit more structure. So this is yeah, Trello is great, but when you're making a game, there's just a lot of little things, and this lets me like categorize things. And it has this cool like design model thing where it's basically like a wiki, so I can describe like cool. I think I've used Toggle before as well. But yeah, you can kind of like you have like this wiki structure, and you can assign individual tasks to the design model, so you can kind of track how much work there is in each category. I think it's locked in the app unless you have like the pro version. Yeah, see, the export GDD is it's not included in the free version, but it isn't very expensive, and I use it enough that I probably should be using the paid version. But the free version, like, it's great. I definitely recommend giving it a try if you're interested in having a tool for tracking progress on a game project specifically. But yeah, I've like somewhat started this I can move this into testing. Started working on swimming. So yeah, I want to add being able to shield while you're locked on, because right now you can't do that. But anyway, yeah, it's a very cool tool. I definitely need to like remind myself to check it. I should probably have it be on my like startup screen when I open Chrome. Yeah. So where were we? Okay. Let's, in that water script we have, so we have this try to swim function in our player. So we can pass in a water area. And we can say, before we change states, we can say swim idle dot current water area is equal to water area. And that should put us in the correct animation. And okay, we're not actually just need to pass self here. Okay, so we're treading water. We can still move. So let's see. So we'll go back into our player. We'll open up the remote scene when this is running. Player stage. Swimming. Swim idle. Okay, water height offset. Let's set this to like -1. Or no, negative 0.75. And now, if we go in the water, it would sink us in. At least a little bit. Where's our transform? Okay, yeah, that. It seemed like it didn't add. just say -1. Then also, we'll have, do a similar thing here. Don't need this debug anymore. So we'll say, player screen dot. We want to stop the swimming function in there. Stop swimming. Say swim idle. Current water area null. And we'll say in state new state will be idle. I didn't like that. What's it yelling at me for? Thanks for the hydrate reminder and the save reminder and the posture check. Hi Meister, how's it going? Parse global class water. Oh, it's because in my water script I have an error because I didn't finish this. There we go. Why doesn't it like this? Try to swim. Let's. I think they both got in this weird state where, because there were errors in both scripts, it was refusing to save one because there was an error in the other. It's all good. We like to keep a chill co-working space here. Alright. So, water. Let's look that up. Go, try to swim. Glad you decided to hang out here during your break. Thanks. We are about to have ads in like 30 seconds. So I'm gonna run downstairs and get some water while the ads run. And I will see you in a bit. Alright, ads should be just about over. Might be over for some of you. Alright, should be back from ads now. Thanks for sticking around. Ads help me buy a pizza every now and again. So I've been, yay, I had pizza, yeah. I got paid for some contract work that I've been doing, and I used that money to set up a Steam page for this game. It's not live yet, but when I get a little bit further along, I'm gonna release a demo. And it will be free to play, the demo at least, as I'm building up the full game. I will let y'all know when that's up and running. But I've been playing around with getting the game running on Steam Deck as well. So that's been fun to learn how that whole process works. it's fairly straightforward. All right, let's. So now we should be able to enter and exit the water area. Yeah, thanks. Let me look up. I want to see when I first started this. So I have all the. If you're curious, I do have all the VODs. I've been this entire game. I have been streaming the entire process, start to finish. Nice. Oh, hey, Meandering Leaf, welcome. My third raid of the day. Wow. Let me look at this. Wow. Alright, so I have. This is part 58, I think. Yeah. So, let's see. I started this part 1. I streamed it in September. Redacted stream. Oh boy. I have an inkling of an idea what that might have been. So yeah, I started this I started off as doing this as a Wind Waker master study, where I was basically trying to recreate the mechanics and look of Wind Waker in Godot. Thank you for the hydrate. So I started that back in September. I only stream a couple days a week, and only a couple hours each stream. I will, if y'all are curious, here's the link to a playlist that has all of the VODs of this specific game dev stream. The goal from the beginning was to share the entire process of making this game, and I plan on continuing to do that up until I eventually release this game. There's probably going to be some stuff that I can't share on stream, like the whole Steam backend. They don't really want me to leak how that stuff works. Thank you for the floof. But yeah, like it's all the actual, yeah, you don't get to see my API keys and stuff like that. You don't get to know what my app ID is on Steam, or how to access my depots. But yeah, I want to keep this like a transparent process. Kind of share how games get made. Because I think that is a valuable resource. Yeah. Is that Space War? Yeah, that's what I thought. Mine is much higher than that, I will tell you. There are currently 53,447 people playing Space War right now. And I can almost guarantee you almost none of them are playing Space War right now. If you know, you know. So Space War is the default app ID on Steam for when you're developing. So instead of saying like, Grizz is playing secret game title that you can't know about, it just says Space War. All right. So, gonna be a little cheeky and not build out the full swimming state right now. But I can go ahead and we'll say get a reference to the player input. Player input, move input. And then we can, yeah, it is. Everybody's playing it. Yeah, I usually, so you might not be able to read it, but the name of this project is Isware. So I like to name all of my projects with code names. I always name them after extinct animals. This one is about a lynx, and there's this this Isware lynx, which is extinct. It's from France. So I give all my projects usually names based on extinct animals that vaguely have something to do with what the game is. So I have this one called Dromaeosaur that I was playing around with the other day. I have Diabloceratops. I've got Dimetrodon, Trilobite. It just gives me a way of like giving the project a name without having to come up with a name for the game, which I think is really useful because, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna call this game, and I didn't want to give it a name right away. So having a code name is really handy, and having like a sort of like a naming convention for your code names is helpful. Like I've seen some where they're all named after different plants, or like Double Fine always names their projects after a restaurant in San Francisco. Like if you watched the Double Fine documentary when they were working on Broken Age, that one was called Reds because there was a bar and grill called Reds that they went to. And it's like I worked on projects that were named Lily and Coconut and Cactus internally. Those were the names of some of the VR games that I worked on, just to give it a project name before we knew what we were actually going to call it. It's handy. Alright, so we'll get the input length, and then we'll pass that into the animation tree. Let's see. Go in here. And that swim speed. Let's see. We have a parameter in here. Swimming blend position. Set. And swim speed. Yeah. Yeah, I'm currently primarily a solo developer. I am working on a contract project with a team, but we don't really meet super often online, and they're all over the place. There are some things I miss about working at a game studio in person. It was definitely fun to have lunch with folks and come up with solutions to hard problems during lunch. All right. So we can say animation tree dot set swim speed. Swim speed. All right. So this might look a little janky, but let's see. It helped if you spell stuff right. That's one thing that trips me up a lot in Godot. I'm used to a lot of the stuff I did in Unity was in C#. C# is a strictly typed language. GD script, Godot script can be it can be strictly typed, and I usually try to keep it that way. But it doesn't always know how to do stuff with autocomplete. And so you can call functions that don't exist, and it doesn't like it when you do that. And then you try to run it. You can do C# in Godot. But a lot of the resources that exist right now for Godot are using GD script. So I would have to be like translating it anyway, so at that point yeah. I'm just glad it's not current. It doesn't want me to just set this to null. Why is that? C++. Okay, current invalid. Yeah, exactly. Okay, why is it being mad at me about this? It's all good. You can be a silly little guy. We appreciate silly little guys in the owl bear lair. Okay. So why doesn't it want me to be able to set this to null? Is Area 3D not nullable? Like, I know it won't let me read stuff if the thing is null, but it should let me set it to null. Okay, so it's currently null. And now it's saying it's null. No, it's not. And now set it to null. Yeah, Eli, have I showed you Hack and Plan? It's very cool. So it is Hack and Plan is a project management tool specifically made for game development. It's kind of like a more structured version of Trello. It's free to try, and even if you're like, you know, if you want to pay for some of the extra features, it's not very expensive. Trello is great. It's very lightweight, but Atlassian bought it, and I don't trust them as a company. But yeah, if you want to try it out, it has like a sample project that you can look through. But yeah, it's got this, so you can do sort of like agile, scrum, whatever. It's kind of what it's designed for. So you can have different sprints. Yeah. You can have a separate backlog of all your tasks, and you got categories that you can filter it by. But then you also have this design model, which is basically like a wiki for your game design. And you can assign individual tasks to elements on the game design wiki, and the design model will like have a progress bar of like all the tasks that are assigned to it and like if they're done or not. It's really cool. I was talking about how I definitely need to be like using it better, because I currently have I have 2 sprints that I haven't actually finished one, but I started a second one. Yeah. But it's good to get it all out of your head. Yeah, I'll post a link to it. Yeah, Notion is cool. I just don't like they're super gung-ho about AI right now. But yeah, I don't remember how I found Hack and Plan, but I've been using it for years for personal and side projects and stuff, and it's definitely very cool. And like if you're working at a studio, you actually can have you can have it generate burn down charts, and you can have your metrics and graphs and stuff if you're like an actual producer. Which I'm trying to be my own producer more. Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with so many of these tools, is like they're such a simple tool that Obsidian is great too. It just doesn't, Obsidian doesn't really work with how my brain works super well. In that I forget that it exists all the time, and alright, have a good dinner, Mal. But yeah, so many of these tools like Notion and Miro and Trello and stuff, it's such a simple program, but they just want to make so much money off of it, and I get it, because it's like, you know, they made it, they want to make money on it, but they're just being not great about it. Yeah. Google Keep is also pretty useful. A pivotal tracker, I used that ages ago. Debray, you should try Hack and Plan. Maybe someday I will put together like a Hack and Plan video on how to use it, or how I've used it on my project. Yeah. But yeah, I used Trello for a long time too. That's what we used at the VR game company. Standard is a very subjective term. It depends if you're talking like a game studio, or you could try it. You could try Hack and Plan for lesson planning. But yeah, Debray. So I would say for the video games industry, if you're looking to get a job at a video game company, they're probably using Jira, which is very powerful. I hate it. Yeah, Confluence is another big one. Like, this is what Jira looks like right now. Maybe. I don't... No. Google, why are you trying to make me click on AI stuff? So, like, you know, it's kind of similar. It's got the Kanban, like, to do in progress. And it's got like burn down charts and all this stuff. It's overly complex from what I remember. Yeah, Confluence sounds like a combination between consumption and influenza. Or a con crud, like you get after you go to a convention. Yeah, I've only used Jira um for one project, and I didn't like it. Trello, yeah, I would recommend Trello, or Hack and Plan. They're both useful. Um, and again, it's one of those things where like any of them is better than none of them. It's kind of like source control, where it's like you're better off using something than nothing. You're gonna make a mistake and you're gonna blast your project, and if you're not using source control, you're gonna have a bad time. So it's better to have some kind of backup than nothing. Same with project management software. Even if, yeah, Hack and Plan with the different categories, it's nice. I do also have a physical Kanban board that I made in my. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. It's actually kind of funny. I made a physical Kanban board in my office at home. I took a photo of it. Let me find it. And again, it's one of those things where the tool it's really only as useful as it is useful. Like if you're not using it, it's not going to do you any good. Where'd you go? Here we go. Nope. So here's another option. It's a very low-tech solution. This is a closet. I got magnetic whiteboard, and I used some gaff tape to stick it to the different panels of my closet. And I made a backlog to doing and done columns, and I got these magnetic note cards so you can write tasks on them, and then you stick them in. You figure out what you plan on doing in your backlog, and then you move a task or two to do at the beginning of the week. When you start doing it, you move it to doing, and then when you're done, you move it to done. I have a bunch of stuff in my done column. I have one thing that's currently in my doing column. So yeah, like this is effectively what things like Trello are. It's just a digital version. For what I'm doing, since I'm pretty much just doing solo stuff, and I mostly use the one that I have in my office for like life stuff, and I use Hack and Plan for game dev stuff. And I also have one of these. Let's see. Let me find the exact one that I have. This guy. So I have this thing called a time timer, and it's like a whiteboard with a timer built into it. And it's like a countdown timer, so you can do this technique called Pomodoro, where it's basically you set a timer for like 25 minutes, and you work for 25 minutes, and when the timer goes off, you set it for 5 minutes, and you take a 5-minute break. Then when the break's done, you do another 25. Then you do another break, and then you do another 25, and then you take a longer break after you do 3 or 4 or however many you decide. But the whiteboard on this is also magnetic, so I can take a card off of my Kanban board and I can stick it on my time timer. And it's right next to my monitor on my desk, so it's kind of hard to ignore. But again, I have ADHD, and so sometimes stuff that is in my face just disappears, and I don't look at it or think about it, so it doesn't do me a whole lot of good. But it's good to have systems. I find Pomodoro useful too when I'm working on work projects, because I can keep a tally of how many work sessions I've done, and I use that to log my hours for contract work. So yeah, it's useful when I remember it. But yeah, it's hard to stay focused for too long. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I sort of use Twitch and the ads as the Pomodoro. So it's like I'll work, and then when Twitch tells me it's time for ads, then I take a little break, and I do it that way. So you can, if you're streaming, you can kind of you can set your ad schedule up to be your Pomodoro timer, which is kind of fun. I'm still not sure why this doesn't like me setting this to null. Pom ad Oro. Eli. It was right there the whole time. Yeah, I haven't watched enough other like co-working streamers to know if that's something that anyone else does, but it's kind of something that I keep in the back of my mind when I'm streaming. It's like, okay, I stream. Although I set my ad schedule up kind of weird. Yeah. I might redo the way that my ads are scheduled, so I have I don't know, what do you guys like? Do you like more ads that are shorter, or me going longer with a longer stretch of ads? I haven't really asked anyone what they felt. For me, it was just easier to be like, okay, if Twitch is gonna run pre-rolls on my channel if I don't run 3 minutes of ads every hour, so I'm just gonna set it up to run 3 minutes of ads every hour. But I could do it like, you know, 1.5 minute ad every half hour, which I think is what it defaults to. But yeah, I kind of get annoyed if I drop into someone else's stream and I just get a pre-roll. I'm like, you know, Twitch lets you turn that off if you run 3 minutes of ads. Whee! Yeah. Alright. Invalid assignment of property. Okay. That's true. let's on ready bar swim. Let's see if it lets me do this. Okay, that did work. I just need to set swim idle dot animation tree dot swimming is false. Yeah, it's like it's not enough time to even get up from my desk. 3 minutes of time is enough to like go to the bathroom and go downstairs and get water. Cool. We can swim. Kind of jankily, but it's working. Yeah. Yeah, so there's still a lot that I need to do to make swimming work the way that I want it to. So the way swimming currently works is I have this water trigger. It's just it's just a collision shape that's a trigger. It's got a script on it. The script, yeah, he needs to cool off. The script is checking to see if a player enters the water, and then we get access to the player's state machine, and we call this function called try to swim, and we pass in the water itself into that try to swim function. And so my character controller is it's based on I have this state machine, and it's kind of complex because there's a lot of states. So I kind of divided them into grounded states. So we have idle, we have walk, run, roll, and roll bonk. And then I have some combat states for like swinging your sword. We got a shielding state, a side hop, a backflip. We got jump, fall, land, and hard land, which I'm not actually using, but that will be for like if you fall from a certain distance. Then I have swimming. Right now we just have swim idle, which it's not fully doing what it should, but it's basically just saying set my animation to be a swimming animation, and then blend a parameter in the animation to a swimming animation, from like a treading water to like a swimming forward. And it's also setting the player's position to be the top of the water with an offset. So like I could, let's see. Let's grab our player. Collapse that. Move him closer to the water. And let's make the water like a good deal bigger. So let's say it's gonna be like that. And copy that. Paste that. Alright. And we'll go back into our... So if I take this water and I move it like down below the ground, okay, so I don't have an animation blend set up to transition from falling into swimming, which I need to do. But you can kind of see like it set the player's position to be relative to the top of the water. So in our animation tree, let's open up the animation tree. So we'll make a transition from falling, swimming, and the transition will happen if swimming equal true. What other states do we have that could potentially... Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I should probably set up more like sub-states, like the attacking ones. Yeah, it's kind of a disaster. But that's just how animation state trees go. They're complex. Maybe need to make it bigger or move it further out, so keep jumping past it. What if we rotate it? Oh no, let's just scale it up. I don't know if it's gonna complain that it's non-uniformly scaled. It might. I think it's probably fine because it's an area and not a rigid body or anything. If it was a rigid body, it would probably complain. So I think my offset is wrong. But it might also depend on animations, because we have our animation player. No, that's the wrong one. Okay. So we got swim. Now it's letting me. Okay, so the route that the player's down here, but the animation's kind of like the hips are kind of still in the position that the hips would be in normally. Then like the treading water animation, kind of same story. But for both of these, we kind of want like the water line to be like here. So that's let's add a marker 3D. Just move it up so it's like in line with that. So that is 0.65. So we'll use that as our offset. I think I set it to like 0.75 maybe. Oh, it's -1, so let's put it at that. So that should put me at like the correct height above the water. There we go. So a couple things I want to do with the swimming is like I need to make the turning speed significantly slower. And I think the actual swim animation needs to be faster. I think the treading water is fine. But I think if we hop in here and go into the actual animation tree, we go into our swimming here and grab this point here, and that's how long is the swim animation normally. So it's 4.5 seconds, so if I use a custom timeline for this, and I set it to like 2.5, should make it faster. It doesn't loop properly anymore though. Why is that? Oh, because the custom timeline was not set to loop. I need to get rid of that falling pot. It was great for testing, but now it's just really annoying. So we shouldn't jump when we exit the water. I think the Um, hmm, not sure why that happened. Okay, so the ground check for the jump. It's, hmm, it's not colliding with the it's not colliding with the water. So I'm not sure why that's happening. I'm gonna delete falling pot. And I'm also gonna delete this bomb. We know bombs work. It'll make the scene quieter when I start. So the swimming is pretty similar to the swimming in the frog game that I was making a couple years ago. I think I've showed it on stream a couple of times, but mechanically it's using the same animations and it works very similar. What I need to do is I need to make like a pool of water that it'll have like one side will be like too high for you to get out, one side be like the right height for you to like grab on the ledge, and maybe have a ladder on the too high side. One side will have a ramp going into the water, and that will let me test a few things. Like like how the transitions happen from walking to swimming, back to walking, jumping to swimming, swimming to ledge grabbing, swimming to ladder climbing, that kind of stuff. And I think I also need to go through and fix some we're about to have ads again. Speaking of ads, home ad Doro. I will be right back once again. got a couple minutes or a minute left in the ads. I think I'm gonna wrap up after that. Yeah, you can suggest the raid target. Or you're gonna suggest Rambling Onions? Because I'm thinking Rambling Onions. I saw you had posted about them in Ebray's Discord. Cool. Well, thank you all for hanging out. It is dinner time here. So I'm gonna go ahead and raid us out. We're gonna raid Rambling Onions. I haven't watched their stream before, but they seem cool. They're doing some artwork. They have a cool little box VTuber. Yeah, thanks for hanging. I'll be back on Tuesday with more stream, and I think this weekend I'm gonna try to put together, I guess tomorrow, I'm gonna put together a little video for I said Fox, not Box, but close. I'm gonna try to put together a little video of my game for Doig Swift Community Day. Yeah. Alright, let's get this raid started. And have a good weekend, y'all. Thanks for hanging. Thank you, raiders, for sticking around. Alright, have a good one. Bye.